aka MegaBlitzz back, and in today's video we're going over the top 16 deck lists that were at Sacramento Regionals. I did watch majority of the regionals on stream. It was tons of fun and I had a blast, and I'm so glad to see one of my favorite decks showing up big in top 8. Alright, before we get into the deck list, don't forget to leave a like, smash the subscribe button, drop a comment down below, ring those notification bells, and thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. Alright, so let's jump in to our top 16 deck lists at Sacramento Regionals. Alrighty guys, jumping into our deck lists here. To start us off in 16th place, we have Rapid Box. Two quick things to know about this deck. Squawk Ability EX, Thornton. Squawk and Seize, be able to just discard your hand, draw some cards in the beginning of the game. Can be really strong to help you set up very quickly in Rapid Box, because sometimes you just get a clunky weird hand and you kind of got to dig for a bit. It doesn't feel as good. Thornton, I never would have thought to play this card, but it does make sense because sometimes you need to be able to get Metachamp V back out of the discard pile if it gets knocked out, if you have to start with it or something. So being able to just switch it out and just go Metachamp V, deal with it, and then you just, you go off and do your combo, and you usually win the game after that. I like to see it. It's really good. But minus those two cards, pretty copy-paste from any of the Rapid Box deck we've seen. So, jumping into our 15th place deck here, we have Turbo Lost Box with Bravery Charm and Sky Sealstone. I like this build a lot. Sky Sealstone, pretty interesting card. I like to see it a lot. The cards that I'd love to see, though, is 2 Bravery Charm. Because if you put a Bravery Charm on your Dragonite in the mirror match, they can't KO it with their Dragonite. And that's insane, right? Because now they're hitting for 250, which is fine, but you have 270. So that's really good. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of the person's thought process here, is just Bravery Charm for the mirror match, because Lost Box is all over the place. It's the #1 played deck right now. So it makes a lot of sense. We're playing Town Store to be able to find tool cards, to be able to find Bravery Charm, or even, our Forest Sealstone or Sky Sealstone, depending on matchup we're playing. And of course, Kyogre is just that big one hitter, just take a bunch of prizes, finish the game off kind of thing. And I love to see it. It's really nice. All right, going into our next deck here, we have Path Miraidon. Nothing too crazy about this deck. I mean, it's Path Miraidon. They're playing a Lost Vacuum, I think, for the mirror match, just so they can ditch their opponent's path to the peak if they're playing in the mirror match against Miraidon, so they can put their own path down. Or maybe even like Bravery Charm or something, or Forest Sealstone. Makes a lot of sense to me as well. So nothing too crazy, just Path Miraidon, go fast, and smash face. Miraidon is just one of those decks where I pick on it all the time because I'm like, oh, it's mid Rhydon, but it's not mid. You get to see the third game in every single series you play, and it's just sometimes just having a full bench setup and then energies all over the place and going path on turn 1 to your opponent and saying, here, I'm ready to just do damage all over the place, and I have Flaffies coming next turn, deal with it. And if they can't, all right, you're up 1. You know what I mean? You're 1-0 going into game 2. So sometimes that's enough for Miraidon decks. All right, jumping into 12th place here, we have Lost Tina. I don't know, pretty similar to any other Lost Tina list. The only thing that's big different is 2 Roxanne, 1 Iono. A lot of people are playing 2 Iono, 1 Roxanne. It's kind of a preference. I play 2 Iono, 1 Roxanne in my list. I also do play Pokegear in mine, just because, I don't know, sometimes finding Chorus Experiment off Pokegear when it's your first turn to use a supporter feels really nice, because sometimes you don't have it in your hand. So, nothing too crazy. Love to see it. Alright, jumping into our 11th place deck here, we have Chien-Pao, Baxcalibur, with the crazy Moonlight Shuriken and the Canceling Cologne abilities. I don't know, with Lost Box being all over the place, it makes sense to pick this deck. I get it. Super cool, a bunch of energies on a Greninja. Cross-switcher up their Manaphy, Canceling Clone, take 2 prize. If they put Manaphy and stuff back out, okay. Get Greninja back out if they didn't KO it. Do it a second time. You've taken 4 prizes now with just 2 attacks. That's insane to me. That's insane. So Chen-Pao is a really cool deck, and unfortunately, sometimes Chen-Pao brick hands are just, sometimes the deck just bricks. As a Lugia player, I get it. Sometimes when you brick hard, and it just, Chen-Pao sometimes doesn't have the draw power to get out of it a lot. Same thing with Lugia, sometimes you just sit there with like all these energies in your hand and no rare candy, no Irida, and you're just like, oh man, this feels really bad. But that is the game we all signed up to play. All right, jumping into our next place deck here, we have another Path Miraidon. The only thing to note different about this deck is it's playing Collapse Stadium instead of a 4th Path. I like playing a Collapse Stadium in my deck, but I'd rather just play 4 Path, personally. Just play 4 Path and just make sure to kind of always have it, at least have the highest chances of having it. But, like I said, Miraidon is Miraidon. It just goes, and it just goes fast. All right, jumping into our next place deck here, we have Lost Box with Raikou, Dragonite, Mew, and Hawlucha. I believe that what this deck is trying to do is it's trying to take multiple prizes in one turn with Sableye. So you're trying to kind of like Sableye, spread a bunch of stuff out, play Hawlucha to put some more stuff out, and then take, 3 prizes or 4 prizes in a single turn. That makes the most sense to me with this deck. I don't play Lost Box a whole lot, but I like this deck. It looks really cool. This is something I actually was like, man, I might try this list because Lost Box lists are pretty entertaining. I mean, I've been making Lost Zone deck with Who videos since the beginning of my channel as of last month, and Lost Zone engine's just fun to play with. What can I say? All right, coming in our 9th place here, we have Arceus Duraludon with Mawile, Tempting Trap. This deck is positioned kind of weirdly, actually. I don't know. You prey on the Lugia decks a lot, and that's kind of really it feels lately. I guess Rapid Box is kind of a little nice, and your Mew matchup's a little nice, but Mew's fallen off a little bit for this regional. Rapid Box fell off just a little bit. We had 1 in top 16, and that was it. I don't know, but if you just play against Lugia a bunch, or even Miraidon, it's sometimes okay. Like, especially against Lugia, it's super okay. So we don't play Canceling Cologne and the Single Strike Urshifu VMAX anymore. Single Strike Lugia is barely even played right now. It's mostly Colorless Lugia. But I don't know, like, Duraludon's a neat. I like it. It's a deck that works and it exists. And I don't know. The crazy part is it almost been in the top 8, right? So speaking of top 8, let's jump into our top 8 here. We have our first one of 4 in our top 8. We have a colorless Lugia here. The only big things to note about this deck is 3 Lugia V, 1 Ditto. I prefer 4 Lugia V and 0 Ditto. It's kind of a preference. It's all up to you. I don't play Squawkabilly in my list, but you can if you want. Only 1 Therapeutic Energy. Usually a lot of us are playing 2 Therapeutic Energy. We also have 1 Radiant Art and 1 Luxray. We have both of them. Usually lists are playing one or the other. You're usually playing Luxray for the mirror match, or Radiant Charizard is kind of just a big, hey, it's towards the end of the game. You've taken 4 prizes, 250 for 1 energy. Take whatever I want. Take most knockouts with Radiant Charizard. And it's kind of crazy to see both of these in here at the same time. But hey, I could see it working, As a Lugia player, I kind of see it, and it does make sense. And I might even try this at some point, honestly. But nothing too crazy. I mean, you're playing your 4 Jet, your 4 DTE, your 3 Gift, your 1 V-Guard, 1 Therapeutic, but the energies are going to be a little bit different because of just the Pokemon lineup that they have. But going into our 7th place deck here, we have Lost Zone Kyogre with Zamazenta. I'm not shocked to see this in top 8 at all, if I'm being truly honest. This deck has won back-to-back regionals. I mean, Kyogre with Zamazenta, taking big prizes and taking 4 prizes or multiple prizes in a turn. Big knockouts with Kyogre. Zamazenta can be a little difficult to deal with sometimes. And just the pure amount of just speed setup that this deck has, being able to just go, hey, I got all my stuff set up and I'm going fast. And the person that powered it was Azul GG, Azul Garcia Grego, and I mean, come on, guys. Azul knows how to play Pokemon. He just does. So, not too surprised to see this here. It makes a lot of sense. But jumping into our 6th place deck here, we have our second of 4 colorless Lugia. Again, with 3 Lugia V, I would still prefer 4. They are up their Snorlax here. They are playing 3 Snorlax, taking out for that Lugia V. And they are playing the Radiant Charizard instead of the Luxray. But other than that, this is pretty similar. I mean, you know, you can play, you know, 2 Gift Energy, 2 V-Guard Energy or something if you wanted to kind of change it up a little bit or switch it around. It's all up to you guys, really. Lugia is pretty flexible like that in its energy slots a lot of the times. It's kind of just all what you expect to play against or what you're worried about, really. But nothing too crazy for most colorless Lugia lists. All right, coming in our 5th place here, Gardevoir. It's Gardevoir. It's reversal energy Gardevoir. You know, you got your Mirage type Kirlia. Spiritomb is also now in the deck. You do shut off your own Zacian. However, you don't care to shut off your Zacian because you can just put energies onto it with Gardevoir. So you're basically playing Spiritomb to shut off Genesect and to shut off Lumineon Vs from your opponent. And I don't know. It's really good. I love it. I love to see it. I think Spiritomb is a nice fit in this deck. And you can attach energy to it with Psychic Embrace because it's Psychic type Pokemon. So it fits in that category as well. I don't know. I'm not shocked to see Gardevoir in the top 8, especially in 5th. I had actually kind of projected this deck to do a little bit better or have a couple more in top 16, but it did not. All right, coming in 4th place, we have another colorless Lugia deck. This one is also playing Radiant Charizard and a Luxray. They are playing 2 Lugia V-Star and 3 Lugia V, 3 Snorlax, no Weird Deer. I don't know if I'd ever play this Lugia list. It seems really greedy to me. Your energy count's insanely high. I mean, you have, what, 4, 7, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I guess not too high, actually. It's 15, so I guess it's normal. It's a little more spread because it's playing less cards in the deck overall, and you're playing 4 Great Ball. So just when I was looking at the list, it just came seem kind of smaller. I'm not gonna lie, I'll be honest. That's a mess up my part. However, 4 Great Ball to be able to find Lugia and stuff, so it's all about, like, you have to be able to hit it off the top 7 over and over again. And I don't know. I just don't know if this Lugia list is it. I mean, it did take 4, so I mean they're doing something right, but it seems just really greedy to me, and I don't know if I'd want to play this list. But I love to see colorless Lugia doing well, and I love to see Lugia on top. I'm preferably a single strike player, but I've been dabbling in the colorless as well, and it's been very fun. All right, coming into our 3rd place here, we have Lost Zone Kyogre with Dragonite and Raikou as well. I don't know. It's Lost Box, guys. It's just go fast and do big numbers and hit Kyogre big. Dragonite early game, you know, Raikou early game if you need them. Sableye there to Lost Mine, Cramorant as well. Just go fast, set up fast, get cards in the Lost Zone. It's your just standard Kyogre Lost Zone deck. I'm curious to see if Kyogre Lost Zone will eventually fall off, because I remember at one point Lost Zone Kyogre was really popular and really big, and then it did eventually start to fall off when things kind of shifted a little bit in the format and things were changing around. Kyogre kind of was at the top or close to the top, then it kind of fell off, and now it's making a comeback again. So I'm curious to see how long it'll stay this prominent thing in the meta. Alrighty, jumping into our 2nd place deck. Words cannot begin to describe the fact that this deck took 2nd, and real quick shout outs to the 1st place and 2nd place people. They had given me so much motivation, and I'll tell you why. I have never competed in a regionals. I would like to. You can see right there, dangling by my window, I did go to Pittsburgh. However, I went as a spectator. I did not get to play in the regionals. My first regional looks like it might be Indianapolis of this year, and I'm really excited. However, the fact that this deck was there, it was their first regional they ever played in, and they're just like, I want to play these cards. This makes sense to me. Hyper Beam, discard, you know, Charizard EX energy, Hope you don't have a second one. They're really greedy with their energy count in Charizard anyway. And then just, it's a big body. And then you 240, you know, for another attack? That's insane to me. And then you have Slacking as well. It's just a backup attacker. And just kind of being able to go off a little bit. One thing I would change in this deck, I would cut Radiant Greninja. I would not play Radiant Greninja in this list. I would just put a Squavit there. Honestly, I don't think Radiant Greninja makes a lot of sense because you're playing for Path. So it's like a little weird and it has to be timed kind of very perfectly. But this is like an Arceus toolbox deck. It's literally playing one Serena, one Sharon's Care, one Heavy Ball, one Switch, one Rope, one Vacuum, one Palpad, one Belt, one Band, one Punch. It's playing one copies of so many different things. You know, one Slacking, one Gyarados V, one Gyarados VMAX, one Radiant Greninja. It's an Arceus toolbox deck that made it all the way to second place, and it was this guy's first regionals ever. That's insane to me. Like words cannot begin to describe how awesome that is. I mean, that's incredible. And this guy just showed up and was like, I want to play Melian in a deck. I'm going to play this. Gyarados works. It deals with Charizard. I was like, that's crazy to me, man. Like, that's insane. So, shoutouts to this guy for showing up and with just the utmost, like, I'm going to show you guys that Arceus is still a contender. And it got there. It did. However, there was a part where they were talking after the match. I can't remember if it was his first stream match that he had played or if it was after the finals. I believe it was when he had gotten into the finals, was so it would have been the semifinals match. They had asked what the thought was behind it, and he said Dodge Miraidon. So I had pulled up his Pokestats live thing, and he didn't play a single Miraidon deck, I don't think. And if you don't play Miraidon, you don't play your worst matchup, you can get there. I was a Lugia player. Dodge Miraidon, man. I get it. I'm in for it. All right, coming into our first place here. Colorless Lugia. Guys, I'll be 100% honest. This is almost copy-paste of the list I'm playing right now. Straight up. I'm playing something very similar. My energy count's a little bit different, and I am playing for Lugia V, 2 Snorlax instead. However, this deck's been fun to play, and it's positioned pretty well in the format right now. I mean, you have a lot to deal with. You know, you can put energies onto your Drapion and deal with Gardevoir. Mew's really strong in the Charizard matchup, but towards the end of the game, Weirder V can one-shot potentially anything. Lugia is a really good attacker. Snorlax for 180 damage if you don't have a DTE attached, and if you do, 160 on a single Prizer. Therapeutic Energy doesn't fall asleep. It's crazy. It's insane. And then Luxray for that mirror match is really strong as well. Also, shout out to this guy. His first regional he ever played in, for the first and second place people, was their first regionals they ever competed in. And this guy won. I mean, like, he won. That's insane to me. That makes me so motivated to go to a regional and be like, that's, like, there's a chance. That's something that could happen to anybody. Granted, yes, you have to be good at the game. These people are very skillful. There's skill, there's luck involved, and it's insane to me, right? So, shout outs to this guy. I love to see Colorless Lugia here at the top. It's our 4th out of 4. 4 Lugia decks in top 8 is insane to me, and I love to see it. Alrighty, guys. So that's all 16 deck lists. So, let's jump into that outro. Alrighty, guys, and that is all of our top 16 deck lists from Sacramento Regionals. And I don't know, after watching that and hearing that the first and second place people that were playing, it was their first ever regional they ever went to, and they finished first and second respectively, I was like, man, I'm so motivated. You know, I'm supposed to be going to Indianapolis this year as my first regional to play in, and, you know, I have set soft goals for myself, you know, but would be cool to win, wouldn't it? So, hopefully by that time I'll be able to do vlogs and stuff, so I would love to do a regional vlog when I go to Indianapolis, but that's for a long time in the future. But if you guys like this video, don't forget to leave a like, smash the subscribe button, drop a comment down below, ring the notification bell, and let me know what you guys thought of the top 16 decks. Which deck looked the most interesting to you, or What would you have played had you gone to Sacramento? I personally would have played Carlos Lugia or Single Strike Lugia, probably. Just let me know you guys would have played. All right, we'll talk later. Peace.